Ready? All right, welcome back, Robyn Chachula, who I have dubbed you the Queen of Crochet because you're like a superstar. You're on TV. You write so many books, and they always have an interesting slant to them. I think the last book you were here for was Colorful Crochet, if I'm not mistaken. And it was just really beautiful modern colorways for crochet, which was just gorgeous. And then I think the book before that, if I'm not mistaken, maybe was Unexpected Afghans.
Could have been.
Could have been, which was, I mean, it's so funny because when I think when most people think crocheted Afghans, they think about the ones their grandmas made. Right. I mean, everybody's grandma made crocheted Afghans. My great aunt did, and they were always chevrons. And when I was little, the one was brown and rust and gold. So that gives you a time frame for that. Right. So, but they were so beautiful and so modern. And so you have such an interesting take on creating really modern crochet, but with these are really classic techniques. And I think this book really kind of brings that together with really the classic techniques for crochet, but creates really modern silhouettes and things that people would wear now and probably in 20 years, because they're just right. Yeah, assuming their yarn holds up and their dogs don't stick, don't shred them, right? So yeah, or they don't accidentally throw them in the washer and dryer. But other than that, but the styles, they're just classic styles, and they're things that I think it really appeals to a very wide range of ages, which I think is really the testament to good design. Is that your teenage daughter would wear it, your mother would love it, and you're going to feel really good in it. So I think that's really the key. And I think this is where you're such a genius, is how you create these beautiful looks. And I mean, nobody, like, even this cover project, I mean, this does not look like the boxy crocheted stuff, that I remember from like the 60s and 70s, that crocheted boho kind of look to it. And so when I think crochet garments, I tend to think about, I see that because that was kind of what I grew up looking at, as opposed to these really drapey, elegant kind of wearable art. So, and for people who are watching this on YouTube, you can't see Robyn, but she's wearing a necklace from the book, which we'll talk about the next necklace later when we do the book preview. But Kate had just said she loves your necklace, Robyn, which I did too. It was like the first thing I said when Robyn logged in. So, how did the idea for this book come together? Because it does seem like a kind of a natural progression from the last book that you did with the colorful crochet.
So this book actually has been in my brain for years and years and years and years. And Interweave and I were trying to figure out when to make it and when to do it. Because, I mean, this is as mostly as, as the essence of Robyn that you can get. Because my background, I know I've said before, is I'm a structural engineer by trade. Not anymore, but that's what I used to be. But what a lot of people don't know is that I was doing not just regular buildings. I was doing historic renovations and restorations. And so my whole take is on history. Like I'm that nerdy architectural historian. So history and me are interconnected. And crochet has such a long and diverse and complicated and mysterious history that's where this book got started, is that luckily my Nana and my grandmother, they all gifted me with all these different very, very old uh, crochet patterns, you could say. Like, they weren't really truly patterns. They were how they used to write them, with a picture, and then you just figured them out. But that's really where my inspiration came from. That's really where I draw all of my creativity, is all these amazing things that they used to do. And in modern publishing, it's very, very difficult to write, because if you actually wrote it out, it'd be 10 pages of writing for just like some crazy collar, which no one would do. So the idea was to take all these beautiful classic techniques that have been around, way before me, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my grandmother's grandmother, and show them off in ways that we can use now, and like you were saying, that we could use 20 years from now. That was kind of the key, is to combine. None of these are revolutionary techniques. They've been around forever. So, we have pineapple lace, filet, Irish crochet, there's Tunisian lace, there's Brouge lace. All those things, usually when you say one of them, there's always this like picture in somebody's head that go, oh, like they cringe, because they remember whatever. They remember some tablecloth, or they remember some, who knows what, some collar that they just think is old. But if you break it down, and this is where my engineer brain comes into it, as I usually, if I go into somebody's home and they have a gorgeous crochet tablecloth, I usually get mesmerized by it. I don't think, oh, that's kind of old-fashioned looking. I think, oh my goodness, look at that motif, or look at that stitch pattern, because you don't usually see them very much often anymore in crochet, in modern pieces. And so I wanted to bring that beauty back. And so with this book, that's what we dive into. We dive into, very classic old techniques, and I get a couple other friends of mine to help me showcase it's just the pure beauty of it. And like you said, the range is from, your grandmother would love a sweater from here, and your niece would love the jewelry from here. Like it everybody in there.
Yeah, and actually Kate says you can always count on Robyn's designs to be something you really want to wear. And I think as we show people the preview of the book, they'll see just how true that is. So, but first tell us about this cover sweater, because it's so like delicate looking.
Yeah. It's amazingly striking. So this is like the perfect cover for the book. Anastasia Popovich designed this sweater, and it is actually a sweater that her grandmother used to own. So it's the craziest thing ever. So this sweater is very, very old. Anastasia rewrote it, redesigned it, kind of like reimagined it, changed a little styling here or there, but this is actually something that her grandmother actually wore all the time. So it's amazing, because you think, wow, like all these years later, I would wear that.
Yeah.
I'd wear that tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's really neat how you can link past and future so interconnectedly. So I love that sweater.
Yeah, and Mary says she loves this lace design, and it's really, and I'm going to finish the sentence now. So what I see a lot in current fashion is a lot of open work, a lot of kind of a heavier lace, and a lot of like sheer insets and inserts in. You see it on the runways now. It's very, it's really on trend, and I think this it doesn't look like a design from 40 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really, really pretty. It's lovely, very lovely.
Yeah.
So, and this I love. This is there's something that's like sturdy and ethereal about this at the same time. Like I would not be afraid to wear this for fear somebody would catch their ring on it or something. And I think that's the thing too with like knitted lace and really fine lace weight yarns is, I have dogs, I'm a little on the clumsy side. I would really, I'm being afraid to wear it out. This looks both ethereal and sturdy. I love this, and the color. So tell us about this design.
This is a wonderful design. This was done by Kristen Amdahl, who I personally think is my own like goddess. She's like the goddess of crochet because she thinks so much differently than me, but everything she makes is just gorgeous. And this is actually done in her bamboo yarn, which is fabulous. Which I love this yarn because I am a very hot person, and I can't wear most of the crochet that I make unless it's like jewelry, because I just get overheated too hot. But with the bamboo, I can wear it all the time because it breathes so nicely. So, and the wearability is unbelievable. I mean, I am like you. I'm not nice to my clothes, and so I need something that will withstand me, and this bamboo does. This is Brouge lace, and so of course Kristen thinks of Brouge in a totally different way than anyone else. Brouge is where you have all those tiny little short rows. You go back and forth and back and forth, and you can create like all these. You can really go in any direction you want. She does spirals into these giant, medallions that are pieced together and make up this shawl. But you don't even from like it's almost like they're hidden. Like from each way you look at it, you may not even notice the spiral. You might not notice the medallion, but you still notice these really cool stitch pattern that is developed from it.
Yeah, so pretty. Yeah, Kristen has been here several times. I call her the hardest working woman in crochet. That woman, I don't think she sleeps. She's just always she's got 20 things going at any given time. So, but I guess that's what happens when your brain is on overdrive all the time, right? So, but this I loved. This is something that you could, like this girl wears it a little more bare and you see a little more skin, but a tank and a pair of trousers underneath it. And, if you're not quite that open to showing yourself.
But that's how I would wear it.
Yeah. I wouldn't wear just like a bra underneath it. There would definitely be some kind of a camisole type thing. But this is really beautiful. Tell us about this project.
So this is also a Brouge lace project, and so this basically came about because essentially that very easygoing style is mine. This is my style, and so I designed this basically for me. I won't lie. Almost everything I design is for me, and I just pray that somebody else might like it. But I want something I can wear all the time because I live in Pittsburgh. We have hot weather, we have cold weather. And a sweater like this, I know I could throw on a long sleeve t-shirt underneath and wear it, with leggings in the winter and be totally happy. Or, like you said, put a cami underneath and wear it in the summer. That's what I want because I want to show off everything that I do. So the Brouge in this, so we have all those motifs that you can see. They look like little diamonds. The Brouge connects. They're the part that connects all the motifs together. And with it, I made it a little bit more, exciting by doing post stitches. So not only do you have the little short rows that go back and forth, and when you get to the little chain space, you grab a motif and you join it. But I added a little post stitch, so if you can see it on on another page where you have a whole nother layer on top of it that's making like a little zigzag. It just has tons of texture mixed in with all the lace to make it extra exciting.
Yeah, and I could see that when even just looking at this picture, that you can see that it looks layered. It has like the texture over the top of it, which this actually makes me want to just kind of reach over and sort of run my fingers over it. it's
It is really cool. And the cool thing about it is that, like you were saying about earlier, we were talking about travel projects, and we're traveling all the time as well. And usually when I do a lot of motif projects, I love motifs. I won't lie. Usually when you're doing motifs, you need to connect them as you go. But with this one, you literally make, I don't know, 30 motifs, all separate, and then you come back and do the Brouge to join them all together. So when you're traveling, you can just bring one ball, and, and you're just making tiny little squares with you, and then you'll come back with the Brouge and join them together.
Oh, yeah. And that was actually Mary's question is, do you make the motifs first and then put in the connections? So good question, Mary. And Kate says you could make this longer for a beach cover up, which I agree. I mean, you could make this as a dress and put a slip dress underneath it, which would be really pretty for the summertime. Really pretty. Yeah. So, and then this is like modern boho, right? This is modern boho. This is so cute. Tell me about this one.
This is the Carefree pullover, and Natasha designed this one. And when she designed this, when she submitted the design to me, there's a couple of them that I immediately said, yep, that's it. That's on trend. Yep, you got it. Like, there was nothing we did other than talk about yarn. But it is a filet pattern, which you can easily see in the white band along the bottom that it looks like filet. The filet crochet is where you have all of those boxes that either are solid or void. And if they're solid, you crochet however many double crochets or treble crochets to fill in the box. If it's a void, if it has no color in it, then you do a chain to make a hole. And so this looks complex, but it's actually really easy because it's just like it's like you're following like a little chart to do it. And it's so modern.
It is.
Because we're using this like linen blend yarn, very modern yarn. And it's like the perfect summer cover up, it's just light and breezy, and it's like you're wearing, a cloud.
Yeah, and Roxy says she loves this, and Kate says this looks that she likes how filet crochet looks like this because it's more lacy. And I love the little picot detailing on the neck, the sleeves, the hem. This is a runway piece here. It's really beautiful. And if you're making it in linen, it's just going to get softer and drapier every time you wash it, which is really nice.
And in the end, it looks like it really doesn't use that much yarn either, at all. So like this is one of those pieces that you can go and splurge on the yarn because you don't have to buy 20 skeins of it. You don't have to buy a whole, and then you have it forever.
Yeah, it's really, really beautiful. And then I think this is kind of a more traditional application of the filet crochet. And, this is a nice transitional piece because I think it will give you more warmth in the spring and in the early fall because it's more filled in. It's like it's heavier. So, and this is what I traditionally think about about filet crochet is that it has that heavier feel to it, although this is very geometric, which I think is what makes it so much more modern. Tell me about this project.
So Lorinda designed this one, and this is as classic as you can get. This is our easy pattern because I should say, like in the book, we kind of go from like, okay, if you haven't done this technique before, here's your easy pattern, to, I've pushed them or me to do like crazy weirdo patterns in the book. This is our beginner pattern, but it's fantastic because like this is a piece that you could wear for a long time. But it is like a Celtic kind of cross cable looking pattern. But I like it because it's like a hidden mystery because you really only can see it if you totally have it completely open. but when it's all wrapped up, it still looks really pretty with all the little check patterns by all those open void boxes um, in there. But it's like as classic as you can get. You can almost imagine if you plopped this design off, made it in thread, you would have seen it on the bottom of somebody's like dishcloth or as their curtain, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
It is. This is why I love it. It's like, oh, well, now I made it out of yarn and I wear it as a shawl.
Yeah, I'm wearing grandma's drapes, right? Grandma's kitchen curtains. Yeah.
Which I would.
Yeah. Grandma's kitchen curtains.
Yeah.
And I think, and you see that kind of lace a lot in the windows in Europe. Like if you're in France or Ireland or Germany, or you see this kind of lace hanging in the windows. So yeah, so it's like you took some kitchen curtains and made something that you could wear. It's really pretty. Yeah, and this is beautiful. This, when I first looked at this, I thought, God, this looks like it was knit. Which is a compliment, because it drapes and it fits, and so Kate says, "Is this yours, Robyn?" Because she loves this one.
This is mine. This is mine. So again, this is again a filet lace pattern. What I did here is I used the benefit of crocheting it on the bias. So you start in a corner and you work your way all the way to the other corner, which basically means you start in the corner, and so you're going to increase on every edge. But everything in the middle is just double crochets or chains. So like all the middle stuff is really simple. The edges are, not hard in any way, shape, or form. To increase in crochet, all you do is put, 2 extra stitches in 1 stitch. Not rocket science. But I love it because when you're done, like this looks like it's so wearable and it's so light and airy. And it's not, a lot of times, people think like, oh my goodness, to get that, I must have to do it out of, crochet thread, which sometimes you might. But this wasn't. This was done out of a great, I believe the yarn might even be acrylic. I use anything. I don't care. I love it all. But it's so wearable, and, I think the hook was not something crazy. It might have been like an E or an F. So it's totally a doable project, and what's great is that because it's filet repeats a lot. So your brain can kind of go on autopilot, and you just, oh, here's a hole. I now got to, you start doing it with the pattern. But because it's on the bias, it drapes wonderfully.
Yeah.
You don't have to do hardly anything. It does it for you.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, and Roxy says she loves this is a multi-seasonal design. And, and you could do this in black and wear it for the evening. And, I mean, it's really, really useful piece in the wardrobe. I think that would get a lot of wear.
Yeah. I mean, that was my goal, as with all my projects.
Yeah, well, because you want to wear them, right? You don't want to just take them out at Christmas for a party. So, yeah, and this actually, you're wearing this necklace today.
Yeah, so it's for me.
So tell us about this project.
This is part of the Irish crochet chapter in the book. And this is kind of the easier pattern. Basically, my idea here was, Irish crochet, a lot of people immediately think of like something free form, where, it's definitely older because it's been around forever. But, Irish crochet for me is all about the individual motifs and the lace. And like, I like them for, of course I'm an engineer, so I need things to be a little bit more structured and not as freeform, although I very much enjoy what other artists do. My stuff is much more organized, for a better word. But what I did here is take one of a very, classic pattern, a little leaf pattern, made it in some great thread that we have now. You know, this is Omega thread, I believe, or it could be Lisbeth thread. I don't know. They have thousands of colors now, like any color you could even imagine you have. And you basically you just make, you know, 5 little leaves, you know, tack on some little flowers. Join, you know, I join everything with jump rings because I have little kids and they like to yank on everything that I'm wearing when I pick them up. So I want something that will fall apart easily so I can put it back together really easily. So I connect everything with jump rings, and plus then it moves with your body. But I like color, so this is, you know, very springy, very colorful, and but it's very textural too. It's kind of hard to see, but every round is, you know, basically you finish the round and then you go back with another round of slip stitches, which is, you know, not done in regular crochet motifs, but in Irish crochet it's done a lot to add just an extra layer of texture, extra layer of depth. There, you know, there's a lot of feel to these, as well as very unique look to them.
Yeah, Susan says she loves this for the summer, and it looks adorable on you, and it also looks beautiful on this model over that bare skin, you know, which is really nice. And Kate says, "Yay, the necklace is in the book," because she was, of course, admiring it on you. So yes, it is in the book. So you don't have to email Robyn and say, "Hey, you know that necklace you were wearing at your Planet Pearl live event? Do you have a pattern for that?" So yeah, so that works out really well. And is this shawl, is this also Irish crochet?
This is also Irish crochet. Yeah. So Christina designed this, and what we did is used 1 or 2 motifs, but made it uniform. So made it more like a typical motif project, but made using Irish crochet motifs in this just lovely shawl. She has beadwork around the edges, so it has a little bit of weight to it because the yarn is very, very, you know, it has a great halo. It's very, very light. So with a little bit of beads along the edge, it gets just an extra little. This is definitely something that you would make and wear at a special occasion because this is just very, very lovely.
Yeah, and you know, there's nothing wrong with a little bling on the edge of your shawl, right? No. And if it helps it drape better, well, then it's a twofer. So but yeah, this is just so pretty, and I love the color this is done in. You know, it's like such a juicy color. And, you know, and especially for like in the evening, you know, you put this over white or black and it will it'll just really pop. But, yeah, and Kate said, is this also motifs?
This is motifs, yeah.
Yeah.
This is motifs.
So pretty. And I pulled this because, you know, what a great take on a tank top. And I love how it's styled over a sleeveless blouse instead of over a cami. It gives it such a modern look. This is so pretty, and I loved the edging. Tell us about this project.
This is gorgeous. So Natasha also designed this one. And basically what we wanted to do is, a lot of times with Irish crochet, you don't notice at the background. So, you know, you notice all the motifs that are, you know, flowers or shamrocks or leaves, but what's connecting all of them is just a background. A lot of people have known like the netting, where it's just a lot of chains and single crochets, but true Irish lace has this gorgeous background of lace going on behind it, and so that's what we did. So Natasha and I figured, you know, we want to show the background, all the netting, and bring that to the forefront. And so that's what it is. It is an antique background lace of an Irish crochet pattern, but made it the forefront. Essentially, like, taken off all of the crazy, you know, motifs that they would have plopped on it to just have the simplicity of just how gorgeous this lace is all on its own.
Yeah, it's really pretty. And Kate says she could totally see herself wearing this, which I can too. And Susan says it's fancy and casual all at the same time.
It is. And it uses this fantastic, that is with the garden, I don't know, either 3 or 5. It's a crochet cotton yarn, but it has like this lovely sheen to it that doesn't go away because I've made a couple of things for my kids in it. And it drapes great and it looks great for a really long time. So it's a great yarn.
Yeah, just so pretty, and just even just the detailing on it. I mean, it's really gorgeous. I mean, a mermaid would wear this. Don't you think a mermaid would wear this? I can totally see like a mermaid dressed in that. That's
It's
just
just I
me.
just caught up in the lace, yeah.
Yeah. So and then this is what I think of as more traditional kind of crocheted shawl, but this has
Mhm.
such an interesting collection of stitches in it
Yeah,
that it's like you're really makes your eye move because you want to see what happens next kind of thing,
exactly.
right?
And
which I,
and that
which I imagine crocheting it is the same experience as you're doing it.
that's exactly what we were going for. I mean, so Rebecca Velasquez designed this, and basically I begged her to do it. She does very lovely Tunisian designs, and but I said, I don't want I don't want a safe Tunisian lace pattern. I want something crazy. And so she kept showing me these lovely swatches, and I'm like, that's great, but add more and add more. And unfortunately, I drove her crazy, which I tend to do.
But the end
Um,
result is worth
it's
it.
so beautiful, and she made, the math might have, killed her,
Oh my god.
but it's gorgeous because that's exactly it. You start at the top of the back of the neck and then you increase as you go. And so, every couple of rows you get to learn a new stitch pattern. And so it looks super advanced, but it was only advanced to design. Um, if you know Tunisian stitches, you can do this. There's nothing that's, we didn't invent some crazy stitch or anything like that. But it's like a sampler come to life that you can wear. So every little bit you get to learn another stitch pattern, another lovely way of doing lace in Tunisian. So it's just lovely, and I think it definitely can rival any knit lace shawl, which I love as well.
Yeah, I agree. And Roxy says it's so romantic, which I agree. This is a really romantic shawl. And Susan says you wouldn't be bored crocheting it. And I think that's one of the things on projects, especially that get bigger as you go, which is because you're making progress up front, and then it gets longer and longer. Every row gets longer and longer. Is that to have something to look forward to other than doing the same thing for the next 6 weeks is is a good thing, is a really good thing. And yeah, I just love how the stitches progress down and end in that really lovely trim. It's just really, really pretty. So I'm glad somebody else did the math on that one. So much fun. And this is such a modern design. And actually I thought this was knit when I first looked at it.
Mhm.
But I love just even that little tuck at the top, and
So simple. Mhm.
yeah, it's just it's this is a sweater that's never going to go out of style. I mean, you're going to wear holes in this before it goes out of style. Tell us about this project.
So this one was designed by Megan Granholm, and she rarely designs. And she's another one that I begged to work with. Um, you know, this is Tunisian lace, and it is actually really quite simple to make. It is very boxy, and the way you get that cute tuck is just by gathering the lace together because the lace is so holy and it's got a lot of air to it. So you just gather it. It doesn't add. You think if you gather something, you're going to add a lot of bulk, but this doesn't in any way, shape, or shape or form and just sew your button and away you go. Um, but it moves. You can, like, this is definitely something you can just throw on and wear anytime. Like, this is a very light drapey. You can see on her, like, this is easy to wear. Like,
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. So Kate had asked, does the button cinch it together or is the shaping make it shorter in the middle of the front?
the button cinches it, so it's
Wow.
a box. It's a rectangle. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No,
So, yeah. And Mary says this doesn't even look like Tunisian, which I didn't think it was either.
nope. And that's why I wanted Megan to design it. She doesn't design hardly very at all. And now she has a tiny, cute little one. And so it's even harder to get her to design stuff. But when she does, it turns out like this. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, this is not by any stretch of the imagination what I consider like a classic crocheted sweater. It's so modern and so pretty. So, and I'll show my bias toward knitting because I actually thought it was knit because it just didn't look like it could possibly have been crocheted. Yeah, and Kate says she needs to learn Tunisian, and Mary says it's fun and easy. So yes, and I think what I love about Tunisian is I just love the hooks. I think they're just there's just it's nice to have something that isn't so small that the whole hand covers it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I like the equipment that we use for that. So, well, I know people are going to want to keep track of you, not in a stalker, scary kind of way, but
Right.
because you always have something going on, and you always have new projects going on. So here is where people can keep up with what's going on with you. And first of all, there is Crochet by Faye with an E on the end. And you can see all the places where, oh my gosh, where Robyn has been and is gonna be. So, to keep track, and you can also see her teaching schedule here because I know
It's,
um,
it's definitely old.
oh, it is old, but you do teach. So, but
I do.
there are other places that you can track Robyn, and you can
On my
hear
blog.
about it when she's going to be out and about. So you can track her on Instagram at Crochet by Faye on Instagram and keep up with her there. And then also, if you get, and it's on PBS, so depending on what your local PBS station carries, Knit and Crochet Now TV, which you can see this year has a new host.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Brett Vera, right? And now it is Deborah Norville is the new
Mm-hmm.
host. And season 7 is playing now, and I think you can also buy the DVDs. And some lucky person on MTV or on Facebook MTV on Facebook just we gave away a couple weeks ago. We gave a set of season 7 DVDs to promote the new season. And oh yeah, and Susan says she loves you on Knit and Crochet Now, and Kate says it's a great show, and Mary says she loves it too. And actually, my local PBS station up here in North Carolina doesn't carry it, but my one in Florida does, and so I have. I'm sure I'm going to have the entire season on my DVR when I get home. So, because it's recording it, but
Yep.
yeah, so you can watch that there. And then also, Robyn is an instructor on Annie's, and so you can take classes and all kinds of good stuff there. And you'll see there's a little tab at Annie's for the Knit and Crochet Now. So you can also track Robyn on track has such a different in this day and age has such a different denotation. You can also follow, how about that? You can also follow Robyn on Twitter and at Robyn Chachula, and at Crochet by Faye is the handle there. And also, and like, you can have Robyn come into your house and teach you stuff, which is awesome. It's amazing what technology has made possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you would like Robyn to be your personal instructor, you can, if you go to the interweavestore.com and search the catalog for Robyn, you'll see that there are lots of DVDs here that Robyn teaches. And so you can learn directly from Robyn. I mean, does it get better than that, right? So lots of DVDs to learn how to do all kinds of awesome crochet things. So for those who are on Ravelry, you can also follow Robyn at Robyn Chachula, and you'll see that she has 323 design. That's like crazy. It's crazy. And you have small kids. I mean, that's crazy. So you can see things from the book. You can see her magazine projects. You can see her direct availability projects. You can see her projects from Knit and Crochet Now. I mean, from Annie's classes. You can see it all right there on Ravelry. So I know that we're giving away a book today during the event, and we'll give away one later this week, starting tomorrow morning on Facebook. That's right. I was thinking, wait, is that MTV? No, Facebook. On Facebook. But so if you don't win, or you just can't wait, or you just don't feel like a lucky person, and anyway, so you can first call your local yarn store, because of course we're going to support them and try to keep them in business, and berate the owner if they don't carry the book, because they should. And if you need it like within 2 days on Amazon Prime, or next day delivery, or if you happen to live in a city like I do in Orlando, where you can get 2-hour delivery from Amazon, which is nuts. As you can go to planetpearl.com, click on the books link, and you will see Vintage Modern Crochet is actually first up. And if you click on it, there will be a little link there where you can buy it through Amazon and help support Planet Pearl at the same time, because, well, we get a little commission for that. So that'd be great. So starting tomorrow morning at Planet Pearl on Facebook, we're also giving away a copy of the book. So goodness, Robyn, I know you must be working on something now, because I doubt you're sitting around eating bonbons and watching soap operas. Yeah. Do they still have soap operas? I don't even know, but I have no idea. But what are you working on now? What kind of project?
So right now I have a bunch of different projects for magazines and some yarn collections going on, and then I'm waiting to hear back on the next big project. So it's always waiting. Yeah.
Wow. So I'm sure you'll come back and talk about that one once it gets published. Yes. So, but thank you so much for taking time out to talk about this book today, because it is so lovely, and I hope it's madly successful. And it's such a tribute to all of the crocheters from the generations before, and those that were basically guardians of the old techniques, and while giving us something totally wearable and modern, and things we'll just wear forever. So thank you so much. It's really just a beautiful, beautiful book, which of course, no big surprise there, but it's just a beautiful book. And I appreciate you taking time out to come and talk to us today about it.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. And everybody stick around, because I'm about to give away a book. Robyn's going to help me. If you missed any part of the live event today, it'll be posted up on YouTube later today, and you can go catch up on what you missed. So, yeah, and Susan says it's a beautiful book. I agree. So thank you all for being here, and stick around.